श्री चैतन्यं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. So continuing from the Nectar of Instruction of the Shamrut, text number 5. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसान्द्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशम् शुश्रूषया भजनवेद्यमनन्यमन्या निन्दातिशून्या हृदमिस्फितसङ्गलब्ध्या. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensities of criticize others, uh, propensity to criticize others. So here, let's see how Prabhupada has given his purport on this particular verse. So he says here that he explains about three kind of devotees. One, Kanishta, then Madhyama and Uttama. In the Kanishta, he gives his qualities. He says that he worships only deity, behaves badly with with the devotees, Harinam initiated, trying to chant, and pliable faith, that is soft or unsteady faith that he has. Then Madhyama. So Madhyama, he's like, for him, Krishna is the object of love. Then he has a friendship with the devotees, that is Maitri. Then Kripa, he is merciful to the ignorant people. And Upeksha, he avoids the envious people like atheists and Mayavadis. And he is fixed up in and surrendered to Krishna by taking Krishna consciousness. Then he has a knowledge of Shastra. In all circumstances, he tries to follow all the rules and regulations and keeps up his consciousness. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Diksha Kale Bhakta Hai Atmasama. At the time of initiation, he becomes like this spiritual master, or the spiritual master makes him like him during the time of initiation. And he faithfully chants the holy name of Lord. And then Prabhupada explains about the Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari is he who is pure and free from anarthas. He is uncritical even if a pure devotee is criticizes. He never gets disturbed by anyone's praise or anyone's condemnation or anyone offends anyone. He is without false ego and envy. He never hates the disease, but he hates the diseased. He never hates the diseased, but he hates disease, And he tries to protect the faith of newcomers. He is self-realized, strict in following four regulative principles, disinterested in material enjoyment, and he converts general people into Vaishnavas because he is seriously engaged in Lord's service. And he always expounds and speaks about the Krishna consciousness. And he's Guru, best Guru actually. Why? Because he's offenseless. Then how to interact with a Uttamadhikari? The first thing is that with faith, he should inquire from him, serve him, and that way he should take association of a Uttamadhikari. So let's read the purport and then we'll again discuss it in elaborately about that. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocation mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper person with a careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their particular status. So according to their status, they are divided into three types: the Kanishtadhikaris, Madhyamadhikaris, and Uttamadhikari. The Kanishtadhikari is the neophyte who has received Harinam initiation from spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. So just by taking initiation, no one becomes immediately Uttamadhikari or Madhyamadhikari. Prabhupada says here, he is a Kanishtadhikari. He is neophyte, initiated. He just started his devotional service. So one should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyamadhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So here is the difference. A Madhyamadhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged. That word fully engaged is most important in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyamadhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadhikari or the highest devotee is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttamadhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat or a perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. So among these three types of devotees, this Uttamadhikari's association is most desirable. Then further Prabhupada explains as per the qualities of those three types of devotees. The first he starts with the Kanishtadhikari. One should not remain a Kanishtadhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Acharyam eva haraye pujam yah shraddhaya heta natat bhakteshu channeshu sabhaktaha prakritasmata. A person who is very faithfully engaged in worshipping deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotee or people in general is called Prakrita Bhakta or Kanishta Adhikari. Archayam eva haraye. So he worships Lord Hari. Pujam ya shraddhaye hate. Na tad bhakteshu channeshu. He worships their lordship, but he does not know how to behave with the devotees. So he is Kanishta Adhikari. One therefore has to rise himself from the position of Kanishta Adhikari to perform of to the platform of Madhyamadhikari. The Madhyamadhikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, and text number 46 in this way. Ishvare tada adhineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha prema maitri krupapeksha yah karoti samadhyamaha. So he has a three different kinds of reciprocation with the three different kinds of personalities. Ishvare tada adhineshu. The Madhyamadhikari is devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of a Godhead as the highest object of love. Balisheshu dvishatsu cha. So he has a prema for their lordship, then maitri for tad adhineshu. That means with the devotees who are under the control of their lordship, and krupapeksha, merciful to balisheshu or dvisatsu. Oh, sorry. Krupapeksha, krupa for the balisheshu, and apeksha, that is for this dvishatsu, means merciful to ignorant and avoids those who are envious by nature. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instruction from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. So, how to keep distance from this Kanishta Adhikaris? That has explained very nicely here. Then further it said, in this Krishna conscious movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regular principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in a Chaitanya Charitamrita. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarapan, seyi kale Krishna tare kare atmasam. At the time of his initiation, when a person fully surrenders to the service of Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. When he fully surrenders him. Sei kale Krishna tare kare atmasam. So Krishna accept him to be as good as he himself. So Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam jnanam yatho dadyat kuryat papasya sankshayam tasmad diksheti saprokta deshikais tattva kovidaihi. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually become interested in spiritual life. Divyam jnanam yata dadyat. He gets the transcendental knowledge. Kuryat papasya sankshayam. It destroys the papa, whatever they have accumulated in previous life. Tasmad diksheti saprokta. So that process is called diksha. This is what one should understand. Then only we'll realize that what we have undergone, what is diksha means, and what should be our behavior after that. We have seen many practical example of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with Vaishnavas. When one becomes a disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 1st chapter, and text number 13, it said, Tapasa brahmacharyena shamena chadamena cha tyagena satya shauchabhyam yamena niyamena va. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tad Vijnanam or knowledge about the Supreme. Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Vigachet. When one is interested in transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, text number 21. It says, Tasmad Gurum Prapaddeta Jitnyasu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Parecha Nishnantam Brahmanya Upasamashrayam. When one is actually interested in transcendental science of absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master. So when one should approach spiritual master? When he is actually interested in transcendental science of absolute truth. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instruction. Accepting spiritual master means following his instruction. That's most important thing. Otherwise, people they say, "Oh, I have spiritual master, but he's in the frame on the wall, No interference in my life." But really, accepting spiritual master means following his instruction. Nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of a spiritual life. One must be jitnyasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental sai. Jitnyasu Shreya Uttamam. What should be inquired from the spiritual master? Shreya Uttam, which gives you the topmost. You should discuss about, or you should inquire about the Brahma Tattva, or Atato Brahma Jigyasa. One should inquire about absolute truth. The word Uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of material world, and Ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about the mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such an interest and is simply interested in the transcendental subject matter, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyama Adhikari. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he is seriously engaged in service of the Lord, he should be accepted as Madhyama Adhikari. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by the neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, text number 69, it is said, Yahar Komal Shraddha se Kanishta Jan Karme Krame Krame Teno Bhakta Haibe Uttam. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first class devotee. So, whoever has taken devotional service, definitely one time he is going to be Uttamadhikari. Krame krame teno bhakta haibe uttam. If he is serious and keeps progressing in Krishna consciousness, he can become Uttama. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform of Uttamadhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for a long period while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as a Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yara mukhe shuni ek baar, Krishna nama sei pujya sreshta sabakar. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Atayeva yara mukhe eka Krishna nam, seita Vaishnava kari hatahara samman. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's name, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. And even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures and picture of Krishna and also the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respect to him without reservation. For we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by the Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instructions to Sanatan Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories. Shastra Yukta Nahi Jane Dhruda Shraddhavan Madhyama Adhikari Sehi Mahabhagyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastra is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyam Adhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. A Madhyam Adhikari is Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela text chapter 22, text number 64, it is said, Shraddhavana jana haya bhakti adhikari uttama madhyama kanishta shraddhanusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service, according to the development of Shraddha, that is faith. Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, it is said, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudhrudha Nishay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith, favorable to discharge of devotional service, is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men. And whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etadhratam manne yanmam vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as a truth all that you have told me. Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text number 14. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita and is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretation and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharmana Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevan mukhehi jivvado swayameva spuratyadaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of a Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in service of the Lord. Such a service begins with the tongue. Sevan mukehi jivha adav. Adav means it's in the beginning. From what? It, it begins with the jiva, from the tongue, which means that we should always chant the holy name of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasad. We should not chant or accept anything else. When the process, when this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotees. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service, always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only business is in spreading Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as a Uttam Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to these six processes: Dadati, Pratigruhanati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoyed that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari is particular, is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavat without being self-realized. For by such a imitation, one will eventually become degraded. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotees to be intelligent enough to distinguish between Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that a Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attended the platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciple, but such a disciple must be on the same platform. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of a life under the insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttam Adhikari as a spiritual master. So here ends this particular purport of the chapter or text of the Upadeshamrita. So if you have any question, any doubt, you are welcome to ask that. Because very wonderfully Prabhupada has explained here what are the categories. So we should find out that where we are situated, which status are we in. And according to that, we need to endeavor and put our heart properly in that process so that we can make progress in our spiritual life. Yes, Prabhuji. Big smile. Huh?
So Harinam initiated means Kanishta, right, Prabhuji?
It's an initiation, you know. It's means initiated. Just he started. So we don't know from exactly where he has started. He has started from 80% or he has started from 20% from the previous life. So this life he has initiated with that now. And when he seriously engages as per the instruction of spiritual master, then he becomes Madhyamadhikari. Like Prabhupada, he was specifically instructed by his spiritual master. Okay, you write books in English and preach in Western world. And he seriously took it, you know. And he came out and he preached. Even though he was Uttam Adhikari, but for the sake of people like us, he came to the Madhyam Adhikari and he preached about that. Otherwise, he was very happy sitting in Vrindavan next to the Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kuti and Samadhi and chanting his rounds. He was enjoying his Krishna consciousness. But his spiritual master's instruction. No? And clearly it said that krame, gradually, step by step, when we follow this process seriously and sincerely, so gradually also step up, and you can also become Uttam Adhikari. Because unless and only until you become Uttam Adhikari, those doors are not open to enter in the spiritual world. And that's why Prabhupada says, think big. So think that I have to go there.
Mm.
So we'll reach somewhere. So we'll stop here. Huh?
Okay, Prabhuji.
And tomorrow
Tomorrow we have
have a
service,
service
Prabhuji.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
No problem. Maybe on Saturday evening we'll continue. Okay?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Hare
Sorry.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.